Hey, Eastern Oregon, welcome to this February 2nd version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. We're also on Roku, and I'm glad you're here with me this morning. Dodsy's not here. He is sleeping, hopefully. He might be watching, I don't know. But he last night was streaming an EOU wrestling tournament in Southern Oregon, and they probably got home just a couple of hours ago. And he was planning on being here, but he texted me in about the middle of the match last night and said, "Hey, man, I'm just dragging. I don't know for sure if I'm going to make it or not." So you just got me flying solo here today. Glad you're here with me. Be sure and pipe in and comment. We got some good guest. Dana Londin from Buffalo Peak is with me here in a bit, and then a little later on, Monica McLaughlin, the executive director of LeGrand Main Street Downtown, is going to be with me. So glad that you're here. We'll just cut right to us. Take a look outside, and it was crisp this morning. I don't know, it was probably 20 degrees, something like that. It was cold, but kind of a winter in Eastern Oregon like they come. Let's see what Gabe has for us.
Although the European model is showing a return of a little bit more of those mid to high level clouds into Thursday, making skies appear occasionally hazy. Definitely more sunshine than what we saw yesterday. And as legend has it, if the groundhog sees his shadow, 6 more weeks of winter. I think that is likely, at least here locally, as I'm expecting February to get more interesting weather-wise. Heading into the day on Thursday for LeGrand, it looks like this will start out into the mid to the upper 20s at the 8 o'clock hour. I think we ought to see more sunshine than not. It's possible as we progress throughout the day, those hazy clouds slightly increase, but still sunshine will be peeking through, rising those highs into the upper 30s as those gusty south winds continue to blow up to 45 miles per hour in spots. As we head into my 7-day forecast, sponsored by Valley Insurance, those early morning numbers will be mixing into the teens and 20s, with the exception for that cold spot, single digits in Burns, with highs generally topping into the 30s. Although Pendleton and John Day will be warmer, low to mid 40s. It's possible that isolated areas of the mountainous valleys may see a dusting to upwards of an inch of snow somewhere between Friday and Saturday, but overall, lots of dry time. It's possible that your specific location holds dry until Sunday morning. That's the better chance for light accumulations across the mountainous valleys, anywhere between a dusting to 3 inches, as our entire viewing area at least starts with steady moisture, although Pendleton will stay out of the woods for any sticking snow, as I'm not expecting that snow level to drop below 2,000 feet when moisture is round over the next week.
I'm telling you, he is passionate about weather, and really glad to have Gabe on our staff and with us. And so anyhow, good to have Dana Londin with us today.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm good.
So you're sitting in the big man spot.
Easy chair to fill. He's a good dude. He's one of my favorite people on the planet, but he's sleeping when he's supposed to be working.
I know it.
What's up with that? It's just the best. I always tell him it too. This is the best part of the day.
Yeah.
Early in the morning is the best part of the day.
I know. If you want to hear him whine, it's like if it's early and it's cold. Those two things is like, oh my gosh, he's gonna
it when it's cold.
Yeah, he's gonna be whining the entire time. So, yeah. Well, how's it going, man?
It's good. I don't like what Gabe just said about 6 more weeks of winter.
Oh, that's right. It's Groundhog Day.
Yeah. So I don't really like that. I'm ready for winter to be over, people to come out and play some golf. And yeah.
Well, cool. Well, what are some of the, I know you guys got some new golf carts, and I don't know, talk about talk a little bit about last year, some of the highlights, and then maybe what's coming this year that you're looking forward to.
Last year was a pretty good year for Buffalo Peak. Was really basically my 3rd full golf season being there. It was a pretty good year. We have some issues that we're working on with our irrigation system that's old and been band-aided. So we're working on that. But other than that, we had a great year. Tournament play was up. All the events that we had scheduled was up. So pretty pleased with that. We we won the Merchandiser of the Year award out at Buffalo Peak for the public facility and all of the Western Washington chapter of the PGA, which I'm kind of proud of.
So how do they decide that? Is that based on sales or opportunity? How do they? Yeah.
It's based on a lot of different factors. You know, how we merchandise stuff, what we do to merchandise stuff, the sales per capita, which, I mean, they look at, you know, capita, I have 1,300 people that live in Union. So the sales per capita is huge for where we live. Things of that nature. Just the way we display stuff.
Yeah.
Just lots of different factors that they figure into who gets the award. So I was pretty honored to get that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the irrigation for a minute, because I grew up farming and did sprinkler systems and irrigation and stuff, and so I understand how does that. Do you guys have wells and?
No, we have two sources of water. We have fresh water, and then we have effluent water from the city. Two different pump systems. All the satellites are you know, divided between two systems because there needs to be a buffer between the homeowner property and the effluent water. So it basically, like number 9 fairway, as you come up to the clubhouse, and you know, anything that is around where there could be houses is watered with fresh water, and the rest of the golf course is watered with effluent water.
Okay.
And it's two separate irrigation systems for all practical purposes.
And so it's they're ponds that you're pumping out of.
Right.
To.
Yeah, there's a pump house down at just off to the left of number 6T. There's 6 pumps within that building.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that's a heavy lift from the bottom. How many feet is that in elevation?
It's a heavy lift. You're right. I'm not really sure how many feet it is. It's definitely a couple 100 feet for sure. But it's also quite a distance to get out to number 3,
right.
Number 2. There is a halfway pump halfway up the hill between 11 green and 12 tee box over in there. You can't really see it. It's pretty well hidden, but it kind of sits over there, and that's like a boost pump.
Right.
Yeah, and that helps the water get up the rest of that hill. I mean, going up to 4, you know, the tee box on 4, I mean, you're up there quite a ways.
Right. And that, I mean, water, when you have a pond, and I just know this from my past experience, when you have a pond at a higher level, every foot that it drops, it gains a pound of pressure. And
right.
so, I mean, I wonder, I'm probably the converse too, you know, I mean, so you could be pumping at 100 PSI at the bottom pump, and it'll only get you 100 feet in elevation. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. At the bottom, I think we're at 120.
Yeah.
Right at the bottom, right at the pump, right where it goes out into the system. By the time you get up to the top of the hill, it's by the time it gets to the booster pump, it's half of that.
Okay. And that makes sense. Yeah.
And then the booster pump kicks it up, and we're able to water.
Yeah. Wow.
But we unfortunately lost the system for an entire week last year.
Oh, wow.
Every facet of it went down.
Wow.
And getting parts was still a tough thing to get, and it came out to be a part that was about that big.
About
$600 or $700.
Wow.
But the company that makes it didn't have it. They had to get it, and so we were a week.
Wow. And that's hard. I mean, did you brown any grass in the week?
The greens took a little bit of a shot. The fairways did okay.
Yeah.
The fairways grass is longer, and it's healthier. It's able to take a little bit of heat.
Right.
But the greens, there's some issues. So those are some of the things we have to work on.
Yeah.
We're working on that with our fertilizer company. So they actually come out they'll come out a couple times a year and take some soil samples and make some adjustments to what we need to do or things of that nature. So.
Wow. So when you on a green, I mean, it seems so dense. I mean, it's just so, I mean, like if you take a normal lawn and you cut it way short, you see dirt between it. How do you get?
Well, it's different grass.
What's that? Okay.
It's different grass. It's bent grass and poana, which is, you know, a grass that's designed to grow very dense and very short.
Okay.
Bent grass is the original grass that they planted, but poana is a native grass, and it kind of takes over. And if you're out there looking, then you see, you know, real like a emerald type green, and then you see a little round patch of a different grass. That's poana that's coming into the greens. It's an expensive battle to keep it out, and Buffalo Peak, because of where it is in the heat, it keeps some of it out, but it definitely it affects the greens. And you know, do we let them go all poana or not? That's one of the questions that we're dealing with right now.
But both grasses are short, can be short and
very
dense.
very short. A poana leaf might be able to grow. If you were to grow a poana leaf, it might grow to, I don't know, maybe an inch if you just let it grow.
Oh, really?
It'll seed when they're, you know, we cut them at 1.25 inches, and it'll seed head at that length. If you look at, you know, some of the greens that have a lot of poana in them, they turn white. That's a seed head, and we put growth regulators on it to stop that. But yeah.
Wow. So did you know, I mean, you had, when you, I don't know, talk about your story a little bit about how you got from, I don't know, just how did you get into this, Dana?
Get into golf?
Yeah, well, get into golf and then get into golf courses. Yeah.
Well, I started playing golf when I was 7. My grandfather taught me how to play. I'm the only one that really plays in my family. My brothers try. Anyway, and it was just a passion of mine. Golf was always a passion of mine. I grew up on a golf course, and you know, decided at mid-20s that's what I wanted to do. Moved from Connecticut to Oregon. Went to work at a place called Battle Creek Golf Course in Salem. It's no longer there now. It's a housing development. I went from there to Creekside. Spent about 17 years there and wound up in Eastern Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the best thing that ever happened. It's beautiful over here.
So where was that transition of knowing that you love golf to where you wanted to, you know, manage a golf course?
You know, I can't really answer that, but when I was working as an apprentice at a place called Illahee Hills, my boss, who was truly a mentor, and I could still call him today, asked me a question. He says, "You love to play the game, right?" "Sure, I love it. Just remember, you're taking something you love to do and making it a job. Is that something you want to do?" And he said, "Don't answer that question today." And he says, "You may never be able to answer that question."
Yeah.
But it was, you know, I just love getting people onto the golf course. I love teaching the game, you know, and I love all aspects of the job that I have now because I'm involved with, you know, the entire property, keeping it going. And yeah.
Yeah.
I have a great team. I mean, I really do. I was very fortunate to have the team that I have.
And there's a lot of variety in that. When you have, you know, I mean, that's my experience with where I mean, that's what I have. I mean, I like technology.
Right.
I started with a hobby, and then the hobby
became your life.
Took over my life. Yeah. And there are times that I will find myself in a technical jungle. You know, what is in front of me is one of those examples. And it's like, this is too much. I chose this. Why did I choose it? You know, and
yeah, exactly. When I was sitting there in the 3rd day of the irrigation system being down and trying to get somebody to call me back. And finally we made all the right connections with the right people. You know, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's just awful.
Well,
there's only so much, you know, we have a tank sprayer that, you know, put 500 gallons in, you can spray a green with that and get a little bit of moisture to it. But, you know, when it's 100 degrees, it evaporates quickly.
Right. Yeah. And grass particularly, I mean, once it's brown or once it's dry, it's really hard to get back.
Right. Well, it doesn't die. It goes dormant.
Right.
It's like winter grass. It goes dormant.
Right.
It protects the leaf. The roots are alive. It protects the leaf.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I say, we have number 2 green took a pretty good shot. Number 4, because they're so unprotected. Mm-hmm. The sun just beat on them and beat on them and beat on them. And, you know, when you can't, and those are up on top of the hill. So there's no way to get any water from any other source.
Yeah.
You know, so we sprayed as much water as we could with our spray machine, but
Yeah. Well, and greens particularly, I mean, I don't have any experience in that area. I got a lot of experience in grass, but
Mhm.
nothing. And I mean, when you, in your home lawn, if you leave it longer, it holds water better,
Right,
and
exactly,
you have to
yeah.
water it less. I mean, that's
Exactly.
just kind of, and so I can only imagine with a short green, it
No,
goes dry right away.
it'll dry up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And on a regular basis, we're putting out 400,000 gallons a night.
400,000?
Yeah,
Wow.
on a regular basis.
Wow.
It's a lot of water.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, especially at, I mean, like, just for people might know, so like one of your stations at your home might use 15 gallons a minute.
Right.
Yeah. And so,
Well, it'll start coming on around 9 o'clock, and if I get there at 6 in the morning, it's just there's still heads that are finishing up.
yeah. Well, and that is I mean, that's an incredibly complicated commercial sprinkle systems like that, irrigation. They're incredibly complicated.
It's incredibly complicated, especially when you add in the effluent water.
Yeah. Yeah. And
For
that is
many
water
reasons.
that's left over from the treatment, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's clean.
Yeah, it's clean.
Yeah.
I think it's class 3 is what it is. And
Okay.
so it's clean,
But it's a really
it's a great
good green use.
it's a great resource
Yeah.
for, water. Water is one of those things that, it's everybody's concern, but it's a great resource for water. And I think in the summertime we probably get of the effluent water 200,000 gallons a day
Wow.
from the city.
Again, that's just a huge amount of water.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are farmers out there that would go like, "Oh, that's nothing," but still.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But still, I have no comparison of what a farmer might put out on a, full pivot or something like that. But,
Exactly. So, some of the other things like you said earlier, where we'll have 60 brand new carts. The rest of our fleet is coming. Our build date is in February, I believe. So we'll have 60 brand new carts. So some of our tournaments, we've always struggled to have enough carts, but now we'll have enough carts to have 120 players.
wow,
Yeah, which is great.
that's awesome.
We're looking at getting an area where it might be a covered area where, we can have lunches afterwards, down just off to the left of the putting green. There's an area that was actually built to house, it has no electricity or irrigation under it. So it's one of those areas that we could do something with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a thought process that we have too, after a tournament. It's a nice place to have to gather.
Kind of an outdoor barbecue,
exactly.
beer garden type place.
That
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're working on that project. Couple of new tournaments that we have coming up, which are going to be exciting. We moved the Doug Trice last year in August. It's actually going to be in May of this year. May 6th, I believe, is the date. And then we're going to do a Chamber of Commerce tournament.
Oh, cool.
Which will be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate what you do. Appreciate your work, and
Well, thanks.
you are passionate about it, and that's contagious.
Well, it is, and that it needed some of that.
Yeah.
Like I say, and then again, I was really blessed. I have a great team. I mean, Sean that works with me in the golf shop is great. PJ and his crew, they do a great job up there. We're just and we're blessed to be where we live.
Yeah.
There's no question about that.
Do you have any really big dreams? Like, man, it would be cool if we could. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think anybody that wants to be successful in any type of thing has to have that. Boy, if we could just do this, that would be so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, if you ask me what the ultimate dream would be, a great big clubhouse with a really nice steakhouse that can also feed the golfers at the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to ask me what would be that, it would be that.
Yeah.
But we have what we have now, and I just finished redoing all the bathrooms, well, repainting them, and
Yeah.
just trying to keep that little golf shop looking fresh. And
Yeah.
yeah,
So talk for just a minute before we quit about the things that you're hearing from outside when they come into Buffalo Peak, and the reviews of people who've never been here, and they I don't know, talk about that a little bit.
well, the reviews of people that have never played Buffalo Peak are amazing. They love the golf course. We've done some little bit of advertising over towards Boise. We've got some Boise play that comes now. Honestly, they used to drive right by and go to Wild Horse, because Wild Horse, everybody knew about Wild Horse.
Right.
They didn't know about Buffalo Peak. So we're doing some good things, getting some people from out of the area to come. And obviously, when they come out of the area, they're going to spend money in a little town. They go and
Right.
eat and stuff. So those are all positive things. And the reviews are great. So I'm excited. I think that the next 3 or 4 years will be really good for Buffalo Peak. Right now, obviously, we're in a situation where we have a little bit of an economic downturn. I did make the decision at Buffalo Peak not to change any of the rates. One of the few things that hasn't changed. I just think that I want to keep it to a point where it's still affordable for people, and they come out and they find time to come out and play with their friends and family.
Yeah. The visitors that come in, what are the kinds of things that they're saying? What are they saying to you?
Well, the first comment is, how long has this been here? When you tell them it's been here for 20 years, they're like, God, we didn't even know it existed.
Right. Yeah.
That to me is, I don't understand that. That's just marketing, I guess. But they love the layout of the golf course. It's very unique. I mean, it's true inland link style. They like the fairways at Buffalo Peak. The grass is it stands up very nicely, so your ball's always kind of teed up, and it just they really enjoy the golf course. They love the views. You get up there on the top of 3 and 4, and the view across the valley is just beautiful. The layout of the golf course they really enjoy. To hear the kids, that was the most, when we did the junior championship, and we actually hosted it for another 3 years. The kids love the golf course. They actually kind of pushed the OGA to come back here after we had the match play here. They're like, oh, we got to go back over there. So we host the first junior major of the year for the next, I think, 3 years now.
Wow.
It was 5 years, but now for the next 3. And the kids love coming, and the parents love bringing the kids over here.
Yeah. Well, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing that. Thanks for carrying the torch, and
really quickly, what you guys are doing here, I really love. This is I think it's great. In Gabe, I watch Gabe every day because he's right on the money. If you actually watch the weather on like the mainstream TV stations, their map stops at Pendleton.
Right.
Occasionally they'll talk about John Day, but this whole little valley here is very different, and Gabe does a great job. I really enjoy Gabe.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, us too. And the fact that he does all of that at his home. I mean, he's not even in the studio when he does all of that in his home studio and produces all of that,
That's pretty awesome.
It really is. And what we're really proud of Gabe. He's 18 now. He's trying to figure out what he's going to do with the next stage of his life, but we're going to hang on to him as
long as you can.
Absolutely, as long as we can.
Perfect. Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, Dana, for doing that. And we appreciate that, and appreciate your passion and being here. That makes just a huge difference. Whenever someone is passionate about something that other people don't have any knowledge about it, they like, what's going on over there? And what am I missing? Yeah.
What am I missing? Exactly.
Yeah. And so that is, that thing is just very essential for, for our community. People who do not deal with the economic development circles and the conversations and I'm a part of all of that, and on a regular basis. And, a huge economic driver is, why do people
Why do
from the
people-
outside, why do they come
why do they
visit,
wanna
you
come
know?
here?
And, you know, because when they come from the outside, they spend their money here, they stay in hotels here, they eat
Exactly.
here, and so on and so forth. And, you know, I mean, you know, I mean, there's a few of the biggest drivers. Mira is
Mira's
a
huge.
huge one. You know, Hot Lake is becoming more and more one of those drivers, you know,
Exactly.
and certainly Buffalo Peak. And there are other, you know, there are other items.
There are other items for sure.
You know, but those things are just, they're huge economic drivers.
Very much so.
Yeah. And people regularly drive right through LeGrand to get to Wallowa County, because that, you know, I mean, that's a huge, tourism is a huge economic driver for them, you know.
Absolutely.
And
But they've got
so,
this huge thing up there that's full of water.
yeah, they do. They
And
do. And it's beautiful.
It is,
Yeah.
it is beautiful. I spend 3 days, 4 days a week up there.
Yeah.
It's truly beautiful.
Yeah. So anything that we do locally here to say, hey,
Stop here.
make this one of your stops on the way to or from, or, you know.
Yep, exactly. It's important.
Yep.
It's important to the economic success of a lot of different things.
Yeah. And so that's good stuff. Thank you so much
Oh, you're welcome.
for being a part of that. I appreciate the county and their support of that, because Buffalo Peak would not happen without them
True
picking
story.
that up and adopting it. And so, yeah, all of that is it's just a huge economic, and people have no idea. You know, I mean, there are people that would be like, golf. I mean, they have no interest in golf, but they don't understand how that benefits them in other manners. You
In
know?
other manners,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, all righty. Well, thank you, man.
Perfect.
And thank you, Eastern Oregon. We'll be right back with Monica McLaughlin right after this. All right. Thank you, Eastern Oregon, for being back with us. And Monica, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad you're here with me this morning, and you're in the big man seat.
Yes.
Yes.
Dodzy. I love
Yeah.
Dodzy.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, you'll have to do something Dodgy like. I don't know what that might be.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. The things that Dodzy does, sometimes we have to make sure that the mic is muted during that time. Because, like, yeah, he has no filter. Whatever is in his head is the
Comes out.
Yeah, just comes right out of his mouth. So, well, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Doing well.
So now you have been the executive director now for how many
Almost
months?
4 months.
Is it 4 months now? Yeah. And I was a part of bringing you into that position, and now I'm have left the Main Street board and have doing some other leadership things. And so I'm glad, and that was one of the things that was important to me is that we kind of get, I mean, I could see that I was sunsetting at that position, and I wanted to make sure that we had good leadership in some of those areas, and you're doing good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so, and you reached out to me and you said, hey, I'll come on the morning show and talk about Main Street? And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot going on.
Somebody who's initiating stuff. So yeah. So tell me, what's up? What's going on?
So Valentine's Day, our marketing and social media assistant, Joyce, she's amazing. She put together a guide for dining and shopping in downtown LeGrand.
Okay.
You can find that on our website. It's completely free. And then also starting yesterday, you can come into the Main Street office, 102 Depot Street.
Okay.
Fill out a actual Valentine for a downtown business, and we will drop it off at the business.
Oh, fun.
And if you can't make it downtown, we have a link on our website as well that you could fill out a form, and we'll fill it out for you, the Valentine, and then still drop it off.
So then somebody can fill out, just to make this, so they can send a Valentine to a business that they might really like and want them to hear.
Yeah. Showing some love to our businesses, because they do a lot for us all year.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're out there, you could send a Valentine to me or to us.
Yeah.
EOA.
You should.
Yeah. Well, that's very cool. And that's good because, I mean, a lot of businesses work day in, day out, and they don't get much love.
Right.
I mean, it's just kind of the nature of business sometimes is that if you're not hearing anything negative, if you're not hearing anything, that's probably a good sign.
Right.
But sometimes that is a little exhausting.
Right. I'd like to change that. Let's bring a little more positivity in.
Good. Excellent. Yeah. All right. So what else?
So then we have we're bringing back the St. Patty's Day pub crawl.
Okay.
With a couple changes.
Okay.
So we will have the bus running up and down Adams Avenue. And as long as you have your lanyard, you're able to get on that for free. Registration is $15. The link is live online. You get a koozie, a cup, and the lanyard needed to get all of your specials. The specials that we are getting the businesses to provide are a drink special, a mocktail, so a non-alcoholic drink special, and a food special. So kind of it includes everybody. It's not just the people who want to, go to a bar. It's for everybody.
Okay.
So we're excited about that.
So then talk to me about the mechanics of that. So they get this lanyard.
Mm-hmm.
It has a list of businesses on it where they can go.
Yep.
Okay. And so then so they go into, give me an example of a business that or anyhow, they go into a bar or go into an eatery, and what do they, and so then that says a percentage off of whatever.
It depends what they want to do, a percentage off or a couple dollars off or this for that much money. It's starting at Marketplace Fresh Foods and will be kind of a passport style. So you can get little Clover stickers for either a food special or a drink special that you get at those businesses.
Okay.
And then you'll, at the end of the night or later on that week, turn it back in, the card back in, and then you get put into a raffle for gift cards from every business that's participating. So a pretty good chunk.
Okay. And so it's not a pub crawl.
Sort of.
I mean, it's called a pub crawl, but it's broader than that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And so then, and I'm presuming that they get their $15 value.
Oh, for sure.
Right. I mean, that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then if they go to these different places, then that $15 is kind of like seed money that.
Right.
Right. Okay.
They will save a lot of money.
And and what date is that?
That is on St. Patrick's Day, Friday, March 17th.
Okay.
Starts at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. All right.
And then the next thing, we're really excited about this one, Shamrock Shuffle, the
Okay.
inaugural. We're doing a 5K and a 10K, and we opened up registration last week. I believe it hasn't been a week yet, and we already have close to 30 entries. So
Okay.
really excited about that. And we have people coming from Idaho, from Pendleton, from Wallowa. So people coming from kind of all over, which has been really exciting to see.
Okay. And where are they shuffling to?
So it'll be a downtown 5K, 10K. The 10K will include Washington and Jefferson, but it'll still be downtown. We're starting on Depot Street. That will be the start line and the finish line. We'll have a DJ out there, have some games out there. Just a fun time. You can walk it, dance it, run it, whatever you want to do.
Okay. And so then it'll kind of be like a big track or, I mean, so then the 10K will be this many laps around these blocks or whatever the case might be.
Yep. And they'll be lined and we'll have people there pointing you in the right direction. And,
okay.
Yeah.
And what day is that?
That is the next day. So Saturday, March 18th. The 10K is at 9 a.m. and the 5K is at 9:30 a.m.
Okay. So yes. So what is your guess in the percentage of people that did the pub crawl the night before and they're actually going to do, I mean,
who knows?
Who knows?
Because you could do the pub crawl with mocktails and food if you were that, disciplined. And
right.
wanted
If you
to
were
run the
that
next
disciplined.
day. Yeah. We are offering $5 off the pub crawl if you register for the 5K. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
No, that's cool. That's great. But it definitely might be a little bit of a different audience.
I think so.
Yeah.
And for the Shamrock Shuffle, we're giving prizes for best time in your age group, but also best costume as a group, best costume individual. So just trying to spice up a little and bring some new things to LeGrand.
No. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So that sounds great. So just go over those dates one more time.
So March 17th, that's the Friday. That's the pub crawl.
Okay.
6 to 10 p.m.
Okay.
March 18th, that's the Saturday. That's the Shamrock Shuffle.
Okay.
10K starts at 9 a.m. 9:30 is the 5K.
Okay. And the Valentine, send a business a Valentine. That can start happening anytime.
Now until the day of.
Yeah. So what are you hoping that your hubby is going to do for you for Valentine's Day? Yeah.
We usually have a really nice dinner. I love to cook. He cooks sometimes. He cooked last night, actually. But always have a nice dinner, nice bottle of wine. I don't know. Might be kind of low key this year, but he got me just because flowers last week. So.
Oh, wow. Just because, or like no particular date.
Right.
Yeah. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a just because. I didn't know that actually had a term.
Do that. Yeah.
No, I do that.
Well, now when you do it, you can say just because.
These are just because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know. We're going to keep it kind of low key and I don't know.
Yeah.
Go shopping and
well, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, so in the Main Street, I don't know. So let's pull out a little broader. So tell me kind of what's happening in the Main Street world. You guys have you have a new board.
Yep.
I mean, you have not a new board, but I mean, I think there's four new members on the board, and you guys just came through a retreat. Talk about some of the stuff that's kind of on the horizon.
Yeah, retreat went really well. Timothy with the city put it on, and he did a great job kind of narrowing down what are our goals for this year. We have a lot of goals, so narrowing down, what is the most important thing. One of the ones is telling our story more. So every Monday now we're going to be sharing our board, our committees, our staff, our volunteers, who's involved, why are they involved, what do they like about the organization. I'm really vamping up our social media on telling our story. What are we up to? We're going to change our mission. Our mission is pretty broad and kind of scaling it down of what are we really trying to do? And if someone reads that mission, will they know that we're the ones saying it without our name attached to it?
Right.
Telling the difference between we've had this conversation between the chamber and Main Street. What is the difference? What do we bring to the table? And then, revamping, we're going to revamp Crazy Days, bring some new life into that. We're working on a couple different community events, which we're really excited about. There's new buildings or not new buildings, but new businesses popping up downtown with the economic development side. We're excited about that. We have a new outreach chair, Nicole. She's one of our new board members. She's amazing. So bringing more volunteers into the organization and kind of being a little more organized that way. So lots going on. It's really exciting to be a part of.
Good. And I see that, and I mean, I saw the feature on Marianne Meisner, who is the president.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Marianne, I mean, I believe in her incredibly, and she was, she's done every other position except president.
Right.
And when I knew I was leaving, I had asked her, I mean, it was the board's decision to elect her whoever they want president, but I was really hoping that she would be willing to take that on. And so she's just I got a tremendous amount of confidence in her. And I saw the story that you did, of talking about her and her life. And so that's good.
Yeah. And Marianne, I mean, she's so passionate about Main Street. She has held it together for all these years.
Yep.
And it's been awesome to see her be in that position and really be able to help the organization.
And so, and you guys are revitalizing the Christmas committee too, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's a long ways away, but for people who are excited about those in Main Street, there's a whole bunch of places where volunteers, because it's all volunteer based,
right.
Except for you. You're the one that's being paid to kind of hold it together.
Right.
But there's a number of places you don't have to be on the board to plug in.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I actually added a form to our website under committees.
Okay.
You can volunteer either for a committee or just day of stuff or a particular event or whatever. But yes, our volunteers are the heart of it and that make the world go round for Main Street.
Absolutely. And Beer Fest. When is Beer Fest this year?
Beer Fest is August 19th.
Okay.
From 2 to 9 p.m.
Okay. Yep. Awesome. So, and Beer Fest is one of the it's probably the primary fundraiser.
Yes.
For Main Street.
Yes.
And so.
And we're excited. We're giving that a little bit of an overhaul as well.
Yeah.
Getting more vendors in and more beer and music, and it'll be a great time. We're really excited about it.
Yep. And that's got great volunteer leadership that's in there. And so, well, awesome. Well, thanks a bunch for doing that. Thanks for being passionate about it. You've kind of jumped into the job with both feet, and I love that. I love your energy and love what you're doing. And so, yeah, thanks a bunch for being in that position.
Of course, happy to do it. I'm loving it.
So, all righty. Well, thanks, Eastern Oregon. I think we'll sign off here. Today's Thursday. Kyle will be back. He will be back tomorrow, or he'll be back on Tuesday. Let's see, Benny, how do we switch this? We'll go to this. So he'll be back on Tuesday with us. Just to remind you, there's a couple events happening this weekend. Tomorrow night on our channel here, the Youth for Christ is doing their fundraiser, and that will be broadcast on our network here. Be sure and tune that into that. I think there's some LHS games that are tomorrow night also. So thanks a bunch for tuning in with us this morning, and we'll see you next Tuesday right here.